What if I told you that your life can fall apart at 40 and still become better than you ever imagined? At 42, Michael sat alone in his car outside a small coffee shop, staring at an envelope on the passenger seat. Inside was his final paycheck. He had just been fired, again. Michael had spent 20 years doing what everyone told him to do. Get a stable job, pay the bills, raise a family, keep your head down. And he did exactly that. But somewhere along the way, he forgot about himself. He had once dreamed of opening his own bakery. Not some fancy place, just a small neighborhood bakery where people could grab fresh bread, coffee, and something sweet on their way to work. But every time he thought about starting, he told himself, maybe someday. Someday became next year. Next year became 10 years. And then suddenly he was 42, divorced, unemployed. His kids were grown and living their own lives. And the dream he had buried for years was still sitting quietly inside him. That night, Michael went home, opened an old box from his closet, and found something he hadn't seen in years. A notebook. On the first page in his younger handwriting were 4 words. My bakery. One day, Michael stared at those words for a long time. Then he laughed. Not because it was funny, but because he couldn't believe how much time had passed. He whispered, I'm too old now. The next morning, he almost threw the notebook away. But then his daughter called. She asked how he was doing. Michael said, I'm fine. She paused. Dad, you don't sound fine. And for the first time, Michael told her the truth. He told her about the bakery. He told her how scared he was. And then she said something that completely changed his mindset. Dad, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. Michael went silent. Those words hit him hard, because she was right. He wasn't 22 anymore, but he had 20 years of life experience. He knew how to deal with people. He knew how businesses worked. He knew what failure felt like. And most importantly, he finally knew what he wanted. So Michael made a decision. He would start over. Not next year, not someday. Now, he rented a tiny empty shop on a street nobody seemed to care about. The first day, he stood inside that dusty little building with nothing but a second-hand oven, a folding table, and his old notebook. He was terrified. People laughed when they heard what he was doing. Starting a bakery at 42? Man, isn't that a little late? One person even told him, you should probably just find another job. Michael smiled and said, maybe you're right. But he kept working. Every morning before sunrise, he baked. Some days he sold nothing. Some days he made mistakes. Nobody knew how hard he was working. Months passed. Nothing happened. Then one day, a restaurant owner saw one of Michael's photographs. He loved it. He offered Michael his first big contract. For the first time in years, Michael felt something he thought he had lost forever. Hope that one contract brought more customers. Then another restaurant called. Then a local cafe. Slowly, people started talking about the little bakery on the forgotten street. And Michael kept showing up. Every single day. A year later, the same tiny shop that people had laughed at was full of customers every morning. Fresh bread, hot coffee, pastries coming out of the oven, and Michael standing behind the counter with a smile on his face. One morning, his daughter walked into the bakery. She looked around at everything her father had built. Then she smiled and said, Dad, you actually did it. Michael looked at the old notebook sitting beside the register. He opened it to the first page. My bakery. One day, he smiled. Then he quietly crossed out the words one day, because he finally understood something. It wasn't too late. He hadn't missed his chance. He had simply been waiting for the right moment to believe in himself again. And sometimes life doesn't fall apart to destroy you. Sometimes it falls apart because you're finally ready to build something better. So if you're sitting there thinking you're too old, too late, or you've already wasted too much time, remember, Michael, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. And maybe your one day can start today.